What is up, racers? And welcome back to another episode of our F1 2021 Breaking Point journey. Thank you so much for joining me today. Apologies for the long delay between videos. I just haven't been around, haven't gotten time to record, but I'm so glad that you're here to join me as we head to Aiden Jackson's home Grand Prix after his career is starting to look as if it's shaping to be better, should I say. Wow, that was not put eloquently. But here we go, into the British Grand Prix, 2 weeks after winning the French Grand Prix in our last episode. And we've got a call from an unknown number. I mean, I've been taught not to pick up the phone to these, but...
Hello, mate.
Who is this?
Oh, come on, keep up. It's Devon.
Butler.
The very same.
How did you get this number?
It doesn't really matter. Listen. I just wanted to pass on a bit of friendly advice.
Oh.
Now, it's always tricky racing on your home track. The pressure, all the fans watching, it's a nightmare.
Right, yeah, I imagine it is.
But if you keep your cool, you stay focused, you will get through it, okay? Just imagine it's a different circuit on the other side of the planet. Then, when your race does fall apart, it'll be a lot easier to deal with.
Yeah, great advice.
I knew you'd think so. Anyway, good luck out there today. Just try and make it to the end, huh? Ta-ta!
Yeah, good luck to you too. I'll see you later.
What a little piece of work. I mean, let's just skip the fact that Butler pretty much pulled the ultimate stalker predator approach by somehow getting this big phone, somehow getting the number to the big phone that Aiden Jackson somehow has. And he's literally just done this just to get into our heads, because keep in mind, our home Grand Prix is also Butler's home Grand Prix. But man, he really just rubbed you the wrong way. And he even put his phone on an unknown number. I mean, how sketchy do you want to get? Which I guess says a lot about his personality and why we all hate him. But anyway, looking through our emails and texts, the hype for the British Grand Prix is real, and so it is for us. Let's just jump right into it and see how it turns out.
Tyres are gone.
Copy, Aiden. Box.
Copy.
Let's just minimize the damage.
Right, so I think Butler might have jinxed us. PUNCTURE, the home Grand Prix. Wow, that tire really is not looking good, and our objective is to pit and replace it. Probably the easiest objective we'll have all season, but here we go, delicately breaking into the pits, because we're trying to drive on one less tire, and we just recently changed them. If you can see, we're only at 9% tire wear on the rest of the tires, so we've pretty much just pit for these tires, and now we're going from P7, and we're just going to go down the order. Great. God. Stupid. But what's not stupid is the 1.9 second pit stop AlphaTauri pulled off. What an amazing stop by the boys. And now our objective is once again to finish in the points. Which is going to be a little hard considering we'll be towards the back. But Silverstone is a track that's easy to overtake on. So let's try and get this thing done as we exit the pit lane in P17.
Still time left to push for the points here, Aiden.
Copy.
Alright, let's prove Jackson wrong. And already on the soft compound tire, we're going to have so much of an advantage compared to drivers like Latifi and the Williams. We're going to get a great run down the Wellington straight. We're just going to activate the ERS. No DRS needed. I'm going to break late into Booklands. I think that's the name of the quarter. All the corners on Silverstone are named. And as you go through Maggots and Beckett's, this is the proof that I needed to know that I have the grip to pull off some crazy moves. Because the grip was so good. Normally I'm not very good around Maggots and Beckett's, especially with a controller. But this has just been amazing. We've set a purple middle sector, and we've caught up to Ricciardo and Magnussen. Ricciardo being held up by the Haas drivers. We dived on the inside of, I think that's turn 3, around turn 4. Around Magnussen, or on the outside, heading towards the Wellington straight. Great move on our part. And we get DRS too, which makes it really easy. And towards the end of the same lap, we caught up to Vettel, and look, it's our teammate Ackerman. As we said, 2 purple sectors, Vettel in the Ferrari, very slow. mostly because the Ferrari is a bit of a slow machine, and we just have the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So let's see what we can do. We look for a move up into Abbey, but we kind of pull off because, I mean, that was not going to end well. We dived on the inside of turn 3. Ooh, a little bit heavy on the curb. But we get the move by past Vettel, and now we're in the slipstream of our teammate Casper Ackerman on older tires too. So this means that we are going to have a great advantage with DRS and ERS. We slide into the slipstream. Ackerman defends the inside, go on the outside, onto the grass, around our teammate, and dive down the outside. And we get the move done. Great little move by us in the front of our home fans, and that will certainly add a little drama to our rivalry with our own teammate. And now we've got to move on Alex Albon. This is the man who it seems we might be replacing next year. That's a little too close to home for me being an Albon fanboy. We dived on the inside of Alex Albon into Club. Great little move by us. I think that's Club. I'll fix that in post. And now Butler is up next. In the points somehow. I mean, how is he in the points in a Haas? Like, come on. I mean, I get that in the coding. For no matter which team you choose, the team that Butler will drive for, he'll always be in this position no matter what car he's driving. But my god. But anyway, we got to prove his little phone message wrong. We're going to show him that he should be envisioning this track being on the other side of the world. As we go around the inside through I don't know where that is, down to old start finish straight, but we're heading towards Cops. Oh, I'm getting Lewis Hamilton Verstappen flashback. Speaking of Hamilton, Butler goes on the inside. We go really wide so we don't get a Max Verstappen-esque bit of contact. And I mean Hamilton didn't mean to punt Verstappen off on purpose when he went on the inside of Cops, but I mean, Butler wouldn't put it past him. Perez locks up towards the end of lap 10 as we slide up behind the racing point in the slipstream. Great little bit of speed. And on the soft, we dived on Abbey to make the move that we couldn't make on Sebastian Vettel, and we can get it done. Easy peasy, up into the points, P9 now. And now we're just inflating our ego. We're going to put a show on for the home fans as Leclerc is fighting his 2021 teammate, Carlos Sainz. But the latter being in the McLaren. We make contact with Leclerc's rear right tire. No front wing damage. We go down the outside of Leclerc into Club Corner. As we head towards the Hamilton Straight, Carlos Sainz held us up, and unfortunately we weren't able to get the move past Sainz, but we were going to get it done. As we head towards the run, towards the Wellington Straight, ooh, we make contact with Sainz's rear. We've got to stop doing that on braking point. We really got to stop doing that. I mean, we can't make that into a habit. Then we're going to have a lot of front wing changes in my team. But in the slipstream of Carlos Sainz, down the inside into Brooklands. Great move as we go on the curb a little too much. Can you see I haven't reviewed the track map in a while? And we kick up a little dust on the gravel trap, but the work is done. Lewis Hamilton wins the British Grand Prix in front of the home fans, but another British showcase in our drive from puncture to the points. Back where we started, actually, where we were before we had the puncture. So in the end, I think that was a pretty good home Grand Prix.
Yes, another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. What a race for young Aiden Jackson. If he can keep this up, he's got a long, promising career in front of him.
Absolutely. He'll have been gutted about that puncture. Imagine what kind of challenge he'd have been able to make without it. You've got to give it to him though. He gritted his teeth and pulled it back. Great driving.
Now just whisper it quietly, but things seem to be on the up for AlphaTauri's Aiden Jackson. One to watch. So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
And, well, I mean, while the podium is one that we're even used to in 2021, Hamver-Bot, honestly, that was a really amazing drive. If the driver got a puncture, went from being outside the points to getting back to the position he was before the puncture happened, I think that's an amazing race on our part. And that's a drive we should ultimately be proud of. And I think a lot of people will be proud of. Oh, look, Brian's calling. Speaking of people who's going to love that drive.
Brian,
Well, someone's the hot topic in the press room.
what do you mean?
Oh, come on. There's no need to be so modest.
What are you on about, Brian?
Well, after that puncture, everyone thought you'd lost it. But to pull it back and into the points, it's all anyone's talking about.
Well, I'm glad the press is starting to take notice.
Oh, get used to it. They put a bunch of interviews in your diary for tomorrow. It's why I was calling.
Right, thanks for letting me know.
So don't celebrate too hard tonight, eh?
Yeah, alright, Brian. Don't worry. I'm only going to see my mum.
Right. Well, each to their own.
See you later, Brian.
Aw, Aiden really is a mommy's boy, but really great drive, and social media seems to think so too. Our follower count has increased, and really good big personalities are noticing us, and it's good. I mean, after all the contact of Ackerman and sort of the poor start we've had to the season as Aiden Jackson, to see us on the rise now is great. See about rewriting the narrative that many thought was established way before the season started, and it seems not only that our team is noticing, but the press is. And the press in Formula One oftentimes are the ones that are hardest to impress. But enough of that. We can't rest on our laurels, clearly, as there's so many time jumps in this campaign. So let's move on to the Italian Grand Prix several weeks later. I mean, AlphaTauri in 2020 had an amazing run of form in Italy with Pierre Gasly's win. And while Gasly might not be on the team this season, let's see if we can replicate on that success. Hopefully we can. Let's jump right into it.
I'm not sure if it's something to do with the energy storage, but I'm losing power on the straights.
Right. And you said the acceleration was okay? We'll take a look at it.
And how are we today, chaps? Everything running smoothly, I hope.
All right, Brian. Yeah, we're just going through a few last-minute tweaks.
Ah, that's what I like to see. With dedication like that, maybe you'll be able to get us back a few more of those points, eh?
Yeah, I'll try.
Actually, Aiden, I'm glad I've caught up with you. Thought you might like to know. I had a call this morning from Christian Horner. Mentioned you directly.
Oh.
I think they're sniffing around for next season. You're being watched.
So, no pressure then?
So, what's the problem with the car?
I'm losing power on the straights. It's not a massive issue. I'm sure we can deal with it.
Now, theoretically, do we have time to install the Spec 2 unit before the race?
Yes, boss.
And Casper's reporting no problems?
No.
Okay. Let's do it. Put the Spec 2 in Aiden's, would you?
Well, that would sort it. I mean, if you're sure.
Of course. You could do with a little boost. A little boost. Besides, anything for our star driver. Casper, how are you today? Feeling good about the race?
And just when I thought there couldn't be any more drama, this happened. Of course, this is completely a misunderstanding. If he had known, Casper had known what was going on, maybe he wouldn't have reacted that way. Oh, I like the pun in this article. Although they misspelled devil. Yeah, I went there. Oh, Brian's calling us. I wonder what he's going to be talking to us about. Probably the misunderstanding in the garage.
Aiden, I'm glad I've called you. Listen, don't worry about Casper.
Let me stop you there. Brian, Casper's the furthest thing from my mind right now. I've got a race to focus on.
Good man. In the garage just now, that was my fault. I know how he can be.
What, childish? Self-centered? I'm sick of it, Brian. He's been on my case ever since I joined the team. He needs to grow up.
Okay. You just leave Casper to me and get your head in the race. Let's put that new power unit to good use, eh?
Sure thing, Brian. See you on the other side.
Ooh, and Aiden's starting to fight back as well. I mean, in his defense, honestly, maybe it's just because we're in the perspective of Aiden Jackson so far in this story mode, but I am sympathizing more with Jackson. I mean, that being said, in the garage, that was a complete misunderstanding. He didn't hear that we were having problems on the straights, and there's a lot of information that Casper didn't have in that moment. All he heard was that Aiden's getting the Spec 2 power unit. So definitely misunderstandings there. And Brian's comment about us being a star driver didn't help at all. Clearly, I mean, he was saying it as sort of like offhand, but yeah, not helping with the drama there. But seeing Aiden fight back is just adding more spice to the fire. But here we go, with a new power unit around a track that's power-centric like Monza, what's going to work wonders for us. So let's head into this race and see what we can do at technically our team's home Grand Prix.
Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action. And we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Here we are then, Monza, the 90th time this event has been held, so a special year for F1 fans, particularly the Italians, who are rightly proud of this event and its heritage.
Yeah, it always feels a bit special here, doesn't it, Crofty? Hamilton holds the joint record with Schumacher for number of wins here at 5 apiece, but could snatch it outright today with a 6.
Nearly 100 years of history here, so let's see what this year holds in store for the Italian Grand Prix. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Ackermann, Carlos Sainz, and Perez, Norris, Ricciardo, Stroll, and Alexander Albon, Ocon, Leclerc, Kevin Magnussen, and Butler, Vettel, Raikkonen, George Russell, and Aiden Jackson, Giovinazzi, and Nicholas Latifi. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right, let's see if we can squeeze some performance out of this new power unit. Good luck out there today.
Alrighty then, another 25% race, so which means we can probably win this race. That being said, Casper's way up the order, so definitely we got engine penalties because of putting in a new power unit. But of course, with the extra power around a track like Monza, we should be well off. And we're going to do a medium to soft strategy like we did in France, since that worked so well from us. And we started around the same place as we did in France, in P18. But we've got the things to do. 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix. Our objective is to beat Ackermann. Easy enough. And we're underway. 5 lights out and away we go. And it's a great start from us. We box out Russell. Raikkonen defends the outside, but we go down his inside, hopefully not going to ram the back of him as we did in France. And we're diving down into the first chicane, down the inside of Devin Butler, who's down the order, and we try to go around and we give a little bit of contact to the driver, and he cuts us off really viciously. Wow, Butler, geez, calm yourself. That being said, I think Vettel was primarily the reason why I did that. And speaking of Vettel, we dive on his inside as he tries to defend the inside. Butler too, we dive 2 cars through the second chicane. Amazing moves by us on medium tires as well. Keep in mind, it's going to take a while before these start to weather in comparison to all the soft compound tire runners. And now we're catching up to Butler's teammate, Kevin Magnussen, the better Haas driver in my opinion, as he go better grip somehow around the inside of Magnussen through Parabolica. Great move, great bunch of speed. That being said, the Haas car is a little low on the power side, but I mean, what else do you say? But speaking of power, even if ERS, Magnussen is catching us up to us, but we break later into the chicane, so we almost T-bone Charles Leclerc. We make contact with his rear tire again. We just seem to be using Leclerc a lot as sort of an external brake, but we make the move on Magnussen, and that shows just how powerful the slipstream on the start-finish straight is. We make contact with Leclerc again. Jeez, we've got to stop doing that. We go in and on his inside through Parabolica, but he's still on our outside. No front wing damage as he head on to lap 3. But Leclerc's soft tires, the soft tire advantage is really starting to show here as the DRS is activated on this lap. Leclerc doesn't have it, but he's making a huge move. We dive on the inside, and we're going to take Ocon as well. Great little move down the inside, riding a bit of curve, and we're up into P11. What a stupendous drive in 3 laps. He's made 7 places. This is the AlphaTauri success we are hoping for at Monza. And now we're behind Alexander Albon, who it really does seem like after that CGI cutscene that we're going to be taking his place next season, which is a little bit of drama as we pass him. Through Ascari now, behind Daniel Ricciardo in the Renault, which is looking surprisingly quick. That being said, he's only down in P9, and the Renault is not a very powerful, not very much known for his engine.
Okay,
Speaking of Red Bull, just ask Red Bull about that. Anyway, opening the ERS and the DRS, down to start finish straight. We're in behind the rear wheel like Daniel Ricciardo. We're going to dive down his outside. Ricciardo is still alongside us. We can see Ackermann, who's lost 1 position in P4. We make contact with Stroll as we, well, yeah, we disrupt the car. Ricciardo's still on our inside. We give him a ton of space to a Curva Grande, but we go way too far on the outside, and Ricciardo takes the position back. But Ricardo was the last of the late breakers. Let's take a page out of his book. We dive on the inside into the second chicane, and we pass Stroll. So there's another 2-car overtake through the second chicane. Great work by us. And Ackerman is down to P5 after his lofty P4. Makes our job a little easier, but in order to be assured that we're going to beat Ackerman, we have to make it onto the podium, basically. Which is an easy job to do. We're going to dive on the inside of Lando Norris. Great work through Ascari. We box out the McLaren driver, and now Jeff is telling us to come in a lap early. Jeff, what do you want about? We're on a medium tire. We need to stay out longer. And all our tinkering of the MFD has allowed Norris to pass us on the run to Parabolica. We break a little earlier as Norris tries to defend the inside. But we're going to do the same switch back again down the inside of Parabolica towards the start-finish straight. We're going to turn on some ERS quickly, earlier than we usually do. We're going to open the DRS, and we pass Lando easily. And that's another position for us. Up into P7 in this race. And Ackerman is about to get passed by Sergio Perez. So maybe we'll be able to beat our objective without getting on the podium. But don't stop us from trying. We're going to dive on the inside of Ackerman through Ascari. That seems to be a great place to overtake for us. And we complete our objective. And unfortunately, we can't make it a 2-car overtake as Perez gets a better run. But with DRS down the second DRS straight towards Ascari. Perez squeezes us against the wall. We're so close to the barrier. I don't think we've ever been that close to a barrier in any race. But we make the move well before Ascari. And there we go. P5 in this race. Amazing work by us. And we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But now we're approaching our pit window. And, well, I mean, I'm going to see if we can get past Sainz. But I think I might go a little later than what is recommended by our team. Because, I mean, what's the point of going on a medium tire? We make contact with Sainz's rear again. No front wing damage. We're getting really lucky with this front wing damage. I'm wondering if damage is turned off. Or very reduced in braking point. But anyway, we're behind Sainz. We're going to dig a big boy dive bomb down the inside of Ascari again. What is it us? We go onto this gravel a little bit, which allows Sainz to catch up. So we're going to go into the first Lesmos. We're going to squeeze him out on the outside. Great move, and we get the move done now at least. So good work by us. And now those soft tires are definitely going to degrade for the other drivers, which means that we'll have a bigger pace advantage. And as you can see, we're not going to pit on lap 7 in our pit window because, well, I think we can go longer. I think the tires, the medium tires, are now going to start to come to life and give us a huge pace advantage over the others. And as you can see, I'm well verified with that. As you go purple in the middle sector, as you cross the line, we set a fastest lap of the Grand Prix as Verstappen and Bottas now pit for medium compound tires. We're going to be on the soft, so we're going to be supremely fast. We're not going to make the same mistake around France where we boxed with the top 2. And although we do set 2 purple sectors, we've got quite a big enough gap to the rest of the field that I think we can just pit now. So while we could have set another fastest lap, probably 3 purple sectors on medium tires, we had to pit now for softs. Albon and Stroll are behind us, but they're going to pit. They haven't pit yet. As you can see, they've just entered a pit lane. So Bottas and Verstappen have a 20-second gap to us, but 20 seconds is about the gap you need to make a safe pit stop without compromising your track position. But Bottas is he's in the Mercedes. Of course he's going to be quick. But we've jumped Verstappen. Actually, no, Verstappen's alongside us, getting a better run out of the pit straight, but we dived on the inside of the first chicane, side by side of the Red Bull, potentially our future teammate, and we dupe him. We dupe the main team in the sister team. Great work by us. And now on the soft compound, we're going to be supremely fast compared to Bottas on his medium tires through the first Lesmos. We're going to see if we can make a move into the second Lesmos. Bottas cuts us off. We have to brake to avoid contact with the Merc driver. And now we have to wait a little longer to make a move. But here we go, through Parabolica now, right behind Bottas' rear wing. We're going to make a great switchback through Parabolica, and with those soft tires, of course we're going to have better pace advantage. The game thought we were going to enter the pits for some reason. We set a purple third sector. Here we go, drag race down the line, but we have DRS. It's easy. Goodbye, Bottas. And there we go, P1 in the Italian Grand Prix, as if it was meant to be that AlphaTauri would win again in Italy. And it looks like we're going to do that. We're going to impress the home crowd. The Scuderia Ferrari fans may be disappointed with their team this year in 2020, but they can be proud of their Italian-based team AlphaTauri. It's at a fastest lap, and we take the Italian Grand Prix victory. That's 2 for Aiden Jackson. And Christian Horner, if you're listening to this, I think you've got your second seat well sorted out. Rewriting the narrative again.
Well, 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 quite the rivalry forming between the rookie Aiden Jackson and his veteran teammate Casper Ackermann.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of when Hamilton signed from McLaren back in 2007. And we all know how that one ended. Alonso returned to Renault pretty much the moment the season wrapped up.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. And look at this, they're coming out now. AlphaTauri have developed something of a reputation for forging exciting new talent, and we can see that here. Incredible victory.
And what a great way to see an AlphaTauri race suit on the top step of the podium in Italy. Although the rest of the podium is kind of typical of Mercedes drivers, but like I said, we're rewriting the narrative, and Aiden Jackson's season seems to be on a high.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Well, you couldn't have asked for a better result today. Congratulations, Aiden. Top spot on the podium. How are you feeling?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
I couldn't be happier. I mean, it's the dream, right? I've not got much to say. I'm gonna take all of this in, lap it up, and then probably go and ring my mum.
A big talking point, irrespective of today's results, is how you've improved overall throughout the season. What would you say to that?
I mean, Claire, we won a race.
I couldn't do without the support of the team. They've been incredible. I'm feeling looked after, and I couldn't ask for more. So any improvements are thanks to them.
It's funny you should mention the team as a whole. Can you give us an update? How is the current relationship between you and Casper Ackermann?
Look,
I'm gonna be diplomatic.
Driver relationships are always going to be tricky. Individually, you're always pushing yourselves, and that can cause friction. I can't let anything like that worry me. Besides, we're fine.
Great. Well, that's everything.
Well then, the press once again is hot on our heels. But what a great result at Monza. That power unit really put us in a good spot. But now we're entering Chapter 6, the Mexican Grand Prix. 2 months later, we're near the end of the 2020 season, and it seems like we're in a fight for P5 in the Constructors. But apparently, we've had a run of low form in the last few races. But now that we're in control, I'm sure we can turn this around. But right before Mexico, we get a call from Mom. Well, we should answer it.
Mom?
Aiden, I'm here.
Oh, good. After that flight delay, I was starting to get concerned.
Don't worry. Everything's fine.
And they're looking after you?
Better than at Silverstone.
Good, because you were my lucky charm there, Mum. And I'm hoping you do the same here.
I'll try, love. Now just do what you do, and everything will be great.
I know. Mirror signal maneuver.
And always stick to the speed limit.
I'll try.
Have a great race, Aiden. I'll see you after.
I'm so pleased you're here, Mum. This one's for you, eh?
Well, Aiden, I mean, every time I say something I do is for them, things don't really turn out that well. So I wouldn't maybe making that comment. But, anyway, here we are into Mexico, and we gotta wait till next episode to see what comes up out of this. And after so many good performances, and now that Constructors' Championship position is on the line, I have a feeling that things aren't going to go well in Mexico. But thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe this, and comment down below, and show us your love for this series. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm the ISO Racer. Come back next time for another episode of Breaking Point, and for more My Team Career Mode episodes coming soon. And remember, life's a marathon, not a sprint, but make sure you're always in a position to win it. Thanks everyone. Peace out.